Hello everybody and welcome to a video that I want to talk about because it's kind of relevant, and I just want to bring this up in general because it feels like it's happening more and more. And while I'm using Destiny as background, it's mainly just because it's what I'm really kind of enjoying right now. This the Haunted Season Haunted? No, Festival of the Lost. I'm tired. It's Haunted Altars of Sorrow. But I just want to talk about a couple of different things that have been going on in terms of gaming right now. Because if you're curious, obviously I do gaming content. It is important to me that I at least try to have conversations about games that are happening and are constantly going on. And I'm using Destiny as a backdrop because of the simple fact that Destiny is falling victim to this. And that is simply that the gaming community in general, or just in general, online internet stuff has been getting out of hand to a point that it's actually like kind of scary. Um, like whether it's people harassing game devs, threatening, like physically threatening them with stuff, or in other cases, like who knows what else. Like there's people obviously getting threats and people getting harassed, people who knows what else, but it's like it's getting so out of hand that I'm like, why are we at this point that this is what's going on? You know? Now, I'm not trying to necessarily play the side of the devs and say, oh, devs do no harm. There's nothing that devs are all perfect, whatever. I'm not playing that side here. I'm playing the side of what happened to people, like what happened to the whole idea of just gaming being a hobby and gaming being a whole thing that you can do as a way of getting out of a shitty life type thing, where you're just kind of chilling. Oh, we're doing this pumpkin stuff again. Oh god. Oh, sweet Jesus. But like, don't get me wrong, there are some decisions that are made by devs that I question all the time. Again, I think of examples of carry forward, a lot of the original State of the Portal, so like carry forward for COD, or obviously the original State of the Portal in D2, different decisions made by DVD involving like palette density and different changes to like characters and stuff like that. And like overall, like the anti-slug update and the anti-tunnel update that we had on the PTV for the Kitsune, the initial release date of the Kitsune, and just generally, like in general, like I'm not gonna say those decisions were made with good intent. They're made with good intentions, but they just weren't received the way anyone wanted them to be. Which, fair. I think giving criticism where it's due is fine. But again, there's a point where you reach the, is this criticism or is this harassment? Like, we obviously are talking about the anti-palette density update right now on DVD, or the palette density update on DVD, which if you don't know what I'm kind of talking about, basically every single time you are in a DVD match, there's palettes you can do as a way of kind of breaking chase the killer or slowing the killer down when they're chasing you. And a lot of maps have received updates to gain either more palettes or there's just more tiles to help with people to do that, and a lot of people are saying that it's kind of ruined a lot of killer. On one hand, I could definitely agree. Playing killer, at least recently, has been abysmal as somebody who likes to dabble in the killer games occasionally. But as somebody who plays Survivor mostly, it's a blessing because it means I can actually play the game and not be sad the entire time. I'm also not wearing a mask, and I can't change that because I'm loadout locked. I am very dumb. Am I about to restart? Yes, I am. I'm about to restart this game, and I'm leaving. I feel bad, but I'm doing it because I want my candy bonuses. I'm sorry. I'm a little dumb. I'm a little dumb today. Actually, no, we're gonna go with the good boy because the good boy's always there. But like generally speaking, I'm all for giving things an honest chance. You know, I'm always willing to give something, at least try it once, see if I like it, yada yada. I've always been like this. That's always been the case when it comes to anything I do, whether that's content, whether that's food, whether that's TV shows, movies, anything. I'll try anything once. If I don't like it, I don't like it. Sometimes I try it once, I don't like it, I give it a second chance, like, maybe I'll give it a second chance. Maybe I was just wrong the first time, I had a bad experience first time, maybe I was in the right mindset the first time, and usually, yeah, I start to feel better about something, or the same about something. It's like, yeah, I think I feel pretty confident saying I don't like this. I think a good example of this, actually, was Siege. I thought with Siege X, I thought maybe I would start getting a more, like, I thought I'd be getting more into it. I thought I'd be enjoying the game more, and lo and behold, I'm not playing Siege that much, like, at all. I haven't played Siege since the Siege X video. But on the same token, similarly in vein, DBD. I had played DBD off and on for so long, and then once the FNAF chapter came out, I finally got invested in the game enough that I wanted to just get better and learn. Same with same with a lot of fighting games that aren't Smash, because I play Smash off and on. But other than that, I haven't played. I used to be a really good a decently good Mortal Kombat player, not pro level, but like decently good enough that I felt confident enough that I could go online and usually have like a 40% win rate against people. Like I'd lose more than I'd win, but whenever I did win, it was like, yeah, I won, I feel good. But that being said, a good example of generally how the world is right now is you aren't allowed to enjoy things. If you enjoy something, it's like if you enjoy something, you're either a shill, or it's like if you enjoy something, you're a shill. If you criticize something, you just hate. If you criticize something, then you're a hater. Like there's no in between. Like I think a good example of this is I'm not a big fan of Battlefield 6. Like it's not that I think the game is bad, it's just that it's not for me. Don't think I'm gonna get any enjoyment out of that. Personally, maybe once I own the game, and maybe it's just the beta, but maybe once I own the game proper, if I ever get it, I don't think I'm gonna buy it full price, just gonna be flat out honest. But it's one of those things where I don't think I'll ever enjoy the game in its current state, or at least in that state that I watched that, and have it be a thing where I play consistently. Last time I really enjoyed a Battlefield game was Battlefield 1. And also a little bit of 5. I did enjoy 5. Albeit I know 5 isn't the most popular. I did enjoy 5. I enjoyed Firestorm quite a bit. That being said, though, it's also very much like, listen, I know for a lot of people, these people are passionate. People are, like, talking about games. But I think a good example of how bad this is getting is the whole thing of like people effectively treating new players as tourists, and it's like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. This game's actually amazing, you're just a Call of Duty player who doesn't know any better. It's like, I mean, yes and no. Like, I think a good example of some criticism that I gave is the mastery camo for Battlefield 6 when it first got revealed when somebody earned it. I'm like, I understand Battlefield 6 isn't supposed to be very flashy, but I would at least expect the master camo to look at least a little bit more worth it. Like, I would at least like to have it stand out, like, even with something like Red Tiger, you know? Something that's, like, realistic for a camo, but still kind of flashy. It shows, oh, hey, that person has gone above and beyond to get the mastery camo. And it's like, oh, that's kind of mid. Similarly, is like Helldivers, for example. Helldivers doesn't do it, but it's still, at least you can kind of tell when somebody has it because it's a all blacked out gun. And because you can at least view the game in first person occasionally, if you are willing to do so, you can still at least view that weapon skin in first person. So it's like, why are we complaining? Why can't Battlefield 6 do something like that? You know? I'm going to back off because I only just realized I had 28 treats and I wasted them. So unfortunate. But again, it's like, why are we being so toxic about things when like having people play your game is going to make people not only stick around and play the game, but it's going to allow the devs to understand what is like that people like it, right? So why is it that with Battlefield 6, for example, people are like, oh no, if you don't like Battlefield, if you play Call of Duty, you shouldn't play Battlefield, or like if you can't say something good about Battlefield, you shouldn't be playing it. It's like that should not be how it works at all. the way I see it, at least for me, is if you are willing to at least criticize the game in a way that is constructive and able to at least say, hey, here are the things I like, here are the things I don't like, here are the things I think should be changed to make these things better, I think that's very warranted. You should be able to provide feedback to not only the devs, but to general people to say, like, hey, I like the game, I just have a couple problems with it, which I think is warranted. For example, I like Destiny 2 right now. I think Destiny 2 is in a very good state in terms of the sandbox, but I just think the Portal is a very poorly, awful, like, great concept but poorly executed type problem. Where I like the concept of it, but it doesn't solve, it has an inherent problem with it being very, instead of it being sort of a thing where you can kind of leave and come back, it's very, you have to commit to it. It basically took Destiny that was already kind of having problems with it feeling like a job to making it worse. On the same kind of back half of this, you have stuff like COD, where Modern Warfare 3 was probably one of the best years in terms of having stuff that was for the players, and then we have Black Ops 6 that it's very against that, and it feels weird. And it's like, it's probably just because it's similar, like, different dev teams, but it still feels like you would think that after all that, Activision would have tried to communicate things that worked, things that didn't. But on another kind of talking point, why is it that we can't enjoy things even if they're not necessarily to the quality that we want, right? Which is where I talk about ZA, because I wanted to avoid talking about this because mainly story spoilers, but also I'm like, I don't want to get into this conversation because it's annoying. But I think Pokemon having a genuine, not graphical fidelity problem, but a graphical quality problem is something that I think should not be ignored. I'm not willing to excuse it. I'm willing to excuse it for Sword and Shield, because it definitely didn't look great, but I'm like, okay, it's the first Switch game that's made by Game Freak proper. Let's pump the brakes on the hate a little bit. Then when we got to Scarlet and Violet, I'm like sitting here like, okay guys, this is kind of like inexcusable. How the hell did you screw up this bad? And then we go from Scarlet and Violet to Legends ZA, and it's like, are we serious? But given that we've seen information regarding how it's going to be moving, how Gen 10 is going to be moving forward, I'm not going to say I have hope, but I'm at least willing to still stick around, if only because I like Pokemon too much that I don't want to, like, say goodbye to it, you know? But I'm also willing to still say that, hey, it's not great. Another good example of this is... Oh, Jesus. Barricade so I can not die here. Oh. 1 second. Sorry about that. But, like, again, I feel like we're in a state of, like, constant belittlement when it comes to these things. Like, don't get me wrong, I think there is a point when it comes to, like, criticizing that I think should be taken into account. The big thing I at least always like to bring up is, if you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to game dev, don't give game dev solutions to the problem, right? Because it's not as simple as just do this to fix the problem. It's like, that doesn't fix the problem. Like, a lot of people are just like, I think we'll go back to the Destiny conversation. A lot of people are saying it's like, oh, why don't we just kind of revert, like, bring back all the old content that was vaulted? You do not understand how much of a, like, developmental nightmare that would be. And even if you did, I don't think you'd want to even... And even if you did, I don't think you understand at all what Bungie is dealing with when it comes to that type of thing. And don't get me wrong, I would like to see some of that old content back. Believe me, I would. Especially trying to get, new people into the game that I want to at least experience the story that is Destiny. But on that same conversation point, I don't ever expect to see that happening anytime soon, as much as I would love to see it. And then, again, similar talking point, people are talking about, like, Call of Duty with the reveal, talking about Cursed mode, which is supposed to be, like, a pseudo-classic mode, I guess, type thing. People are complaining about the fact there being armor and stuff like that in Classic, when people assumed it was going to be like Classic. It's like, no, it wasn't. You kind of set the expectation up for yourself that it was going to be like this, and you basically set yourself up for failure. This is your own fault, not the dev's fault. In a similar vein, obviously, we're going to then bring up the elephant in the room of it being like, oh, well, people just talk about, why don't they just make a relic that removes armor? It's like, that would fundamentally require them to change how the game balance works. And while, yes, they can probably do that, it would then make the normal mode suffer even more, because it would feel too easy. Because a lot of people then complained about how Cold War was too easy. Got a more difficult game with Black Ops 6. A lot of people say Black Ops 6 is easy. It really is not. If you think it's easy, I want to know what you're having to dinner for dinner tonight, because I would like some. So it's like, no, you are on something if you think Black Ops 6 is easy. Take it from somebody who's been playing COD Zombies since Black Ops 2. Black Ops 6 is not the hardest, but it's simply not the easiest either. That still probably goes to Black Ops 3, by the way, because Black Ops 3 is dumb easy. But it's still very much like, hey, why are we still having this conversation about how the game should work? If you don't like how the game's working, go back and play the old game. I understand a lot of people say, well, it's impossible to play on anything without getting into hacked lobby. It's like, okay, that's not a Treyarch problem. That is an Activision problem that, unfortunately, they don't see a reason to fix. Mostly because it's a game that's however many years old, whichever one you're playing. Like 10 plus years old, I guess, in most cases, because of the Black Ops 4, which is going on, I think, on 9 this year. So it's like, this is not a problem for these people to fix. It's a problem for these people to fix that they don't want to fix, so they don't see a reason to fix it. Don't get me wrong, I would love to see these games be hacker free and be able to play public match on old CODs, whether that's zombies or multiplayer. But unfortunately, that's not the case. It's never going to be the case. And if you're on PC especially, unfortunately, there's not much you can really do without doing, like, I guess some, like, weird, I think it's like a patch thing that you can do. I've never really looked into it. But, like, there's not much you can do, unfortunately. And I think people are realizing that, and they don't want to admit the fact that, unfortunately, the game isn't for them anymore. Because it's being designed for a new audience that is clearly taking into account the people who actually play the game. Don't get me wrong, I think COD should be listening to the YouTubers and content creators a little bit more, because there are some things I feel like they could be improving on. Again, a good example is Carry Forward. I feel like that the way they listened was incorrect. Instead of adding a skin filter, they removed everything, which makes doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't solve the problem of Call of Duty having an identity crisis. That doesn't solve the problem, because all it does is it makes the people who like the fun stuff, like Jason, Chucky, Ghostface, what have you, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, what have you, in COD, all that does is it makes people who like these things end up not having having a lot of their enjoyment, at least in terms of the fun, goofy stuff, removed. Which is like, oh, well, then what was the point? It should be expected of a development team and a publisher to be able to listen to the people who are talking and take into their ideas of, like, what can we do to fix this outside of listening to the minority of people. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to say the minority, I'm not going to say that people saying Carry Forward should be removed minority of people. I'm saying people saying that they should remove carry forward in general was a minority. Just add a skin filter. That's all it would have taken to fix the problem. Is add a skin filter, because we've had one we had one 2 entries ago on Modern Warfare 3. It is not that, it can't be that hard to do. You know what I mean? Like, I know I was just talking about how, like, if you don't know game dev, you don't know what you're doing, but, like, we've seen evidence that they can do a skin filter. Why can't they do it now? What's so different about Black Ops 6/7 that they can't do what they did in Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2? Right? Like, I can't be the only one who thinks this, right? Like, but it's just, I feel like the gaming community in general, I don't want to say that's the gaming, because it's into streaming at this point too, because don't get me wrong, I'm definitely of the belief that, like, a lot of problems with streaming right now is that there's no great place to stream, because you can't really do it on YouTube because you shoot your discoverability in the foot. You can't do it on Twitch because you shoot your discoverability in the foot, and they really don't care about enforcing their... I have the hiccups. They don't really care about enforcing their TOS correctly. And if they do, it's way too, like, loosey-goosey on certain people, and then other people it's like, oh, did you break TOS by, like, 1% of the rule because of a honest mistake? Guess what? You're permanently banned. You're never gonna be on the platform again. It's like, guys, really? Why are we at this point when it comes to, like, streaming, right? But again, I bring up a very good point of, like, don't get me wrong, these people are correct. These problems should be fixed. But it's the fact that these problems are not being fixed, probably because people are going about it the wrong way. Instead of people going, oh, hey, Twitch, you need to fix these problems. And then instead of them fixing them, they instead make the problems worse, and then people get in an uproar because they're not fixing the problem. And then they ask, why are people mad? Why are people mad about this problem? We fixed the problem. It's like, no, you made the problem worse. I think a good example is the whole bot situation. People have gone from having their streams be what they normally expect to having their streams be borderline dead. Like, hell, even I've noticed it. Even though I'm not a very big streamer, I've noticed a significant dip in views across both YouTube and Twitch. And it's a very common thing that it's like, obviously nowadays it's very much like, hey, there is a problem with the algorithm on both sides, in general. And I think all of those problems are something that should be looked at, and people are trying to go about this wrong way by basically harassing people. That's not how you solve the problem. You solve the problem by telling them what's wrong and then giving, like, more in detail feedback. That's why whenever I try to get feedback for COD devs, I always say, I don't know how well you can fix it without necessarily making it too overpowered or what have you, but it's like, you kind of got to fix this because it feels a little weak. And then usually they do fix it. It gets a little bit stronger, sometimes a little too strong. But then usually it's fine. Thankfully, I'm happy that, like, in terms of general gaming right now, at least the games themselves are still fun, outside of a few problematic issues that each game that I play nowadays has. Like Destiny obviously having a stop block problem with this entire activity that they have, but also having a general, at least fun time with the event no matter what, and that similarly, Pokemon have it just being an all-around fun game. Stuff like that. Like, I'm having a fun time playing the games, it's just the games themselves are getting a little bit more shakier in terms of enjoyments for others, and I understand that. Maybe it's just not a great time for you. And I honestly, the best way that I could kind of tell you is, like, take a break. Your best bet, take a break, find another time to play, and maybe you'll enjoy it a little bit better. Because forcing yourself to play if you're not enjoying something is not a great way of trying to get into a game. And generally speaking, I think the only thing that's going to ever make me stop playing Destiny is going to be the community, because again, I stand by this. This game is very fun when you're able to play it and enjoy the game to its fullest, but when the community is going to be as toxic as they have been, especially Destiny recently, it's, like, impossible. And it's coming from somebody who genuinely likes to see the game improve, and likes to see the game be popular. Like, I think a good example of this right now is I think the game is fun. It's good. I enjoy the game for what it's worth. But unfortunately, not everyone agrees. And I feel bad because I genuinely think this is a very fun game that I think more people should be at least experiencing, if only for the story. That being said, thank you for watching. Just generally kind of rambling and talking about stuff. I will kind of return back to the variety content sooner rather than later. I know I've been kind of all over the place, but I've just been busy with work and life stuff, so unfortunately I just haven't been able to get into a lot of the stuff I want to get into. But I have a couple ideas for games I want to talk about and play. Obviously, I have Bioshock that I'm working on as a series, but I have a couple other games. I have a surprise for what this Halloween special is going to be, and I'll let you kind of see that when it happens. But I also have at least one, maybe two other Let's Play videos that are going to be themed going up. And then two that are going to be continuations of existing series. It's just kind of trying to find the time to record them. I might do them tomorrow, or as we're recording this today. But I also do want to try and stream, so no promises there. I might try and maybe I'll do a late night stream on Friday or something. But obviously, as it's going up, it is my amazing fiance's birthday, so I want to try and be there for her and have it be there for her special, at least for her special day in some way. So. That being said, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in next video live stream and make. Everybody, stay safe.